putting the rumors aside that I've read about, like a Ghost of Tsushima sequel being like at least announced, even if it's just a CGI trailer,
Yep.
would not be out of the realm of possibility to at least get in the next 6 months, whether it's a Tokyo Game Show or not. What I'm expecting is one or two remaster announcements, and that might be about it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gamer Social Club podcast. My name's Fraser, and today I'm joined by Russell. How are you, mate?
Uh, I'm doing okay.
That's
Can't
good.
complain too much.
That's good. That's good. And unfortunately, Nathan couldn't make it today. He's feeling a little bit under the weather, so things are looking. They look a little bit different. They might sound a little bit different. We definitely didn't spend an hour trying to get the audio working, so we definitely didn't do that. But
No,
yeah,
definitely not.
today's episode's gonna be a little bit different. Not different, but we're gonna be talking about some Nintendo stuff. We'll hit on some PlayStation news, the 30th anniversary merch stuff, the Tokyo Games Show, more remasters, maybe a little bit about Xbox, and yeah, we'll just see where the conversation flows. But first of all, Russell, how's your week been? What have you been doing? What's been going on?
Um. As far as how has my week been? Oh, Monday Night Raw in Portland,
Yes.
Oregon. Yeah, that. I posted a video or two in the Discord server. Um, I won't bore too many people. There is kind of a crossover with wrestling nerds and video game nerds, so there is that. I'm sure the wrestling nerds have probably seen Raw this past week. That would have been the 16th. Yes, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure I
I
got
think
that
I
date right.
think it
Anyway,
was.
that's it. That's irrelevant. So Portland, Oregon, September 16th. It was fucking awesome. I loved it. I went back in January or February as well. This one I felt was better. The crowd was a lot hotter. I mean, you saw the couple of videos. I think
Yeah, the
at least
crowd looked
the
amazing.
yeah, the at least the Sami Zayn entrance with all the woes and shit with his music going. Also, that so as far as I know, that song actually doesn't have a vocal track. So everything you were hearing after it says yes or something or let's go or whatever at the beginning, everything after that, like vocal wise, was all the crowd.
That's so,
So
and what a video it was. It was so
yeah,
epic.
yeah. So it was pretty awesome. I enjoyed it. I've already done it twice this year. I am almost positive. They seem to come to Portland about once every 5 or 6 months.
Oh,
So
yep.
I'll probably go again early next year. It was a lot of fun.
So just quickly, like I haven't followed wrestling for ages. What what is Raw in comparison to like the WWE or the
well,
F or
well,
whatever?
well, yeah. Raw is WWE. Like so Raw is their Monday Night Raw was actually their flagship show in the '90s.
Yep.
And SmackDown, which is bounced around as far as nights go, quite
Okay.
a bit in the last 20 years. As of right now, it's on Fridays.
Right.
It's been on, it's bounced between Thursday and Friday. I think it was even on Tuesday at one point too.
Okay.
Anyway, that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
But
And so
um,
it's all the same wrestlers though, like the wrestlers that do Raw do the other stuff as well.
so there's not supposed to be overlap.
Right. Okay.
There's actually three separate rosters. There's Monday Night Raw, there's Friday Night SmackDown, and then there's NXT, which is like their developmental brand.
Mhm.
Come WrestleMania season, so the Royal Rumble, which decides who's going to the main event at WrestleMania,
Yeah.
or I should say now, since there's different brands and shit, who's challenging the champion of their choosing works a little different than it did when I was like a youngster. Once that happens, there usually ends up being a bunch of crossover for various reasons. But
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, because like I'm like I'm living vicariously like through you. There's definitely been there's definitely been a couple of like it's been popping up on my Instagram feed and all that kind of stuff recently. I'm like, do you know what? This is pretty cool. I remember the Undertaker and Kane doing having a fight, and Kane did the tombstoned the Undertaker into a coffin, and I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like,
So if you were into Kane and the Undertaker, there's a group called the Wyatt Six that's going on right now.
yeah,
That I would say you should look into.
okay,
Sadly, they are on Monday nights. Sadly, they were not there. I was actually looking. I was a big Undertaker fan,
yeah, same,
and you know he's since dropped off and retired and whatnot. So like my chance to see him, I feel like, is gone.
yeah,
Live anyway. So like just seeing like a character like that, I thought would be really badass. So I thought the Wyatt Six would fill that void, but sadly they were not there. So hopefully next time. But
yeah. That's right. There's always next time, right?
my
Exactly.
yeah, my favorite modern wrestler, and this will I may become some people's favorite person, and some people may hate me. CM Punk is my guy.
Oh,
He
cool.
has been for a while.
Yeah.
So
He's
and he was there. So
he's been around for ages, hasn't he?
well, so in 2014, he walked out on WWE.
Yeah.
Drama I'm not gonna get into, but he basically walked out on the company.
Yeah.
And then got fired via FedEx on his wedding day. But the WWE is definitely not petty or anything.
No, of course.
Yeah,
not.
definitely not. He did finally come back to a different company called AEW a few years back. And I wanted to see him when he was with them, and then some shit happened, and he apparently got in some backstage fights several times with people, not for the camera
Not
and
part
the
of
script,
the show,
but
yeah.
actually actually two of those situations, if we're being honest. And so last year he got fired from there, and I assumed he'd have like a non-compete like a lot of these independent contractors do, but nope, he just showed up at Survivor Series last year. So after that happened, and then I saw Monday Night Raw advertised for January. I think it was January of this past year. And then I saw his name advertised. I was like, okay, I've literally been waiting like 10 years. I need to see this guy
That's
live.
so cool.
So
yeah.
it was kind of like a dream to come true, and now it came true a second time because I saw him again. Yeah, I'm a wrestling nerd. I love wrestling. And that's that. So that was my Monday. Since then, I just bought the God of War Ragnarok PC port. I've enjoyed the little bit of that I have played so far.
How satisfying is it throwing that axe?
It is very satisfying, and I don't want to. So me and Dan, I told you this before we started recording.
Yeah.
So I can let this small cat out of the bag. Speaking of cats out of the bag, before we get into the news, we need to talk about OpenCritic.
Oh,
we need to talk about the OpenCritic thing.
Yeah.
But so I'm going to be doing a PC port review of God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It's not going to be about the game itself. It's going to be more geared towards the techie thing. Think of it as like I don't want to say Digital Foundry because I'm certainly not that smart, but a more plain Jane version of that, I guess, is what it's probably going to end up being.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than I'm usually always playing like a retro game or something, but I don't need to. Maybe I should stop talking about the stuff that could get me in trouble with Nintendo.
How is the streaming going?
Oh, the streaming on the I didn't between Monday Night Raw and then working a little bit longer at work. I haven't streamed. I think I streamed on Tuesday because I took Monday and Tuesday off for Raw.
Yeah.
Because Raw didn't get over till 8 p.m. I think I got home at like 10 p.m. and I didn't want to get up at 4 the next morning and go to work. So I streamed. I streamed a little on Tuesday, and honestly, like, I'm definitely not doing even the numbers that we do on this podcast, but I think for having 10 subscribers, I'm not doing too bad.
Yeah, that's cool,
man. But other than that, obviously, mostly just playing difficult 2D side scrollers there and screaming at the monitor, the YouTube, whatever the hell you want to
Yeah,
call it. But
yeah. Is it still
that
just Binding of Isaac and Meat Boy, or have you done some...
Binding of Isaac and Meat Boy, I have played. I think one Super Mario ROM hack, and then the PC port of the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Master Quest.
Yep.
Again, that definitely totally official Nintendo port.
Of
That's
course.
certainly not made in a recompiler that I have on my PC at this time. It's definitely not made in that or anything.
Definitely not.
Definitely
No way. Not at
yeah.
all. Not at all.
Yeah, but yeah, so I've tried to keep it to. My thing is, I'm trying to keep it more to 2D side scrollers. I think I've brought this up even on the podcast. I tried streaming Bethesda games last year, and I didn't expect in a million years people would actually start like talking in my chat and stuff. And then they did, which was awesome. But playing a complex RPG and paying attention to chat became pretty difficult for me. So 2D side scrollers and maybe like simpler games like Zelda and stuff that are 3D might be. I would love to like stream Starfield. I just don't know if I can wrap my head around doing that and communicating with chat and whatnot.
For me, those massive streaming or watching those massive RPGs, there's so much downtime, like of you like going through your inventory trying to figure out which guns to use, which skills to use, blah blah blah. Yeah, wild. Okay, have you done any more Space Marine?
I have not since the three of us played. I will say I enjoyed my time with it more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
I know people have complained a little bit about performance. I do see the issues there. I got up to 80 frames a second on my new GPU, 80 FPS, which was really cool, but it kind of bounced in certain areas between 60 and 80. And I guess it's even worse on console. You guys might know more about me, but
I like, we've talked about this before, like the FPS and that kind of stuff. It doesn't bother me having a lower FPS. What bothers me is like when it tries to get the 60 and it hits it sometimes and then it drops down and then it comes back up and it gets jarry and stuttery. That's
yeah. So you're talking about like frame time spikes and just spikes up and down and all of that stuff.
Yeah. So that's when I get annoyed at that kind of stuff. I'm not having. There hasn't been too many problems with that. It's been the servers. The servers have been the problem that I'm having.
Yeah, even in the short like few hours that all of us were playing, for me anyway, I don't know about you guys after I dropped off. Like once you got on a server, you were fine.
Yep.
Or once you got on a server and then were able to get out from the overworld. I don't even know if you call it an overworld. But we'll call it the meetup world.
Yep.
Once you dropped into combat, everything was fine. It was everything in between that was kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah. I still can't host a game. I need, like, if I host the game, it just locks us into the screen where you can walk around, but nothing ever loads. You can't hit the menu button to exit. You need to do a forced reset every time. So
weird.
It's 50-50 whether I get into a game or not still, which is infuriating because I have put so much more time into it. I think I'm up to about 80 hours.
Well, I guess since I was the one that gave you two my codes when we were playing, I guess I would have technically been hosting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't. Once we all got on, I didn't notice any issues like that. But that sucks.
Yeah, it does. PvP works perfectly. I can load into a game and just play, and I'm really enjoying the PvP a lot more than I thought I was going to. But yeah, the PvE side of things, it's 50-50 whether I have to hard reset or whether I get to play. Yeah. It's fucking wild. So yeah, I've like pretty much spent the week playing Space Marine. I also grabbed the Lollipop Chainsaw repopped. It's
How I mean, I kind of know how that's going. You've talked about it a little bit in Discord, but how's for our audience, how is that
yeah.
going?
So I was really happy when I heard that it was getting a remaster because in Australia here, a second hand. I never played it originally, but a second hand copy for the Xbox 360 goes for between $100 to $200, and I'm not like I'm a collector and I like cool stuff, but I'm not paying that much money. That's just ridiculous. So the fact that it got a remaster and I can actually play it, it cost me 50. I think it was $55 in the end. Um, Look, it's a 360 hack and slash that has been made prettier. It's
Which is something to consider,
yes, yes.
definitely.
Um, from the little bits that I've read and seen, it plays a lot faster than the original. The controls are a lot smoother. There are a lot of combos, and it like I'm having trouble linking the combos together. I can't get the timing right. I can pull off the combo, but then she'll finish the combo and it leaves you open to just being attacked. And like those kind of 360 games, almost like Devil May Cry, where there's a point system to your combat. So the more advanced and outrageous your combos are, and the less you get hit, the more points you get, so the better you do. But I'm finding I can pull off a couple of combos, but I just get hit all the time. It's definitely a me problem. It's definitely a skill issue. But yeah, just trying to figure out the timing of all of those. But I think also apparently the original had licensed music in it.
Yeah.
Um, this one does not. There is one song during the upgrade menu. They're playing some. There's like some famous lollipop song that's playing,
Yeah.
but
I know I know the song you're talking about in particular. It makes sense that it would be in
yeah,
the game.
yeah. But if all the other music has been redone, um, like I said, I never played the original, so I haven't noticed like a huge difference. But apparently, it like the new music sucks compared to the old stuff, which I suppose of course it does. Like licensed songs are always gonna hit more than just a song written for the game.
Definitely.
I
I would wager a guess if they already haven't. Some PC player out there is probably going to mod the original music back into the game, at least on
yes,
PC.
yeah,
It's just what happens
yeah. It has, yeah, they have to do that. But then I guess
because why not?
the last part of it is the content. So I'm not someone who is easily offended. In fact, I'm the opposite. You have to like
Definitely.
I'm
There, there,
pretty
there, there, there are conversations that happen behind the scenes that
yeah. Yeah.
let's just say audience neither one of us is easily offended.
Yes, exactly. But there's something I'm I'm not gelling with this. It's not that I'm offended. I think that I've just the over sexualization and the dick and fart jokes. An 18-year-old Fraser, when this came out, an 18-year-old Fraser would have fucking loved this. It would have been brilliant. But a 40-year-old Fraser is like,
Not so much.
not so much. And there's not just like a little bit, there's heaps. Like it's
Oh yeah, I'm so so to what you're saying. I when you said the physical version was as expensive it was, I just looked it up, and for our American friends, it looks like you can find them used on 360 and PS3 for starting around $50.
okay.
They seem to go all the way up to about 100. I'm gonna take a wild shot in the dark and say like some of these are complete in box and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I found some type of special edition on PS3 called the Lollipop Chainsaw Valentine Premium Edition.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is the back cover. It's got the main character, whatever her name is, in some type of like schoolgirl outfit here.
Yep. Yep.
So I just by looking at that, I can get a pretty good idea as to what you're getting at.
Yes. Yes. But it's fun. Look, if you can afford it and justify it, I would say get the original Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 because it's got the music, and the music I'm sure will be much better than what we've got now. And then the last thing I've been doing is playing heaps of Forza Horizon 5. I don't
Really?
I don't know why. I
Hmm.
I bought the steering wheel for Farming Simulator that's coming out later this year, and I thought it's silly just having the steering wheel sitting around not doing anything. So I loaded up Forza Horizon, and it's like I'm actually having a load of fun with it. It's very different to what I usually play. So yeah, so that's been my week. I haven't been anything too wild.
It's funny you bring up that game because I'm one of the people that like when they announced I think at the end of this year they're shutting down Forza Horizon 4
Mm-hmm.
if I remember right.
Yep.
As soon as that went on sale, I bought it on Steam.
Yeah.
But I like racers. I'm not a big like sim racing fan, so I've never got into like the Gran Turismos or the Forza Motorsports. I was definitely more of a
Yeah.
arcade racer.
Yeah.
Played a lot of like Cruis'n USA and stuff like that way back in the day. I don't want to have to worry about changing out like my engine or my types of tires or I'm not looking to turn a racing game into a fucking RPG. I just
No.
want to pick a car.
Yeah.
Show me the car, show me like the stats. I will pick one and we will go.
And we will race. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that's what like Forza's done really well. They've got that sim side of it, but then you don't, or you also don't have to do it.
Yeah, you can just ignore it.
Yeah, I've discovered that you can actually, people can share their hotted up cars, and you can just like download their specs. So that's just what I've been doing. I haven't been specking anything. I just like buy a car or get a car, go to the shop, download the specs of like the one that goes the fastest, and that's me done.
And then just go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, I guess the big elephant in the room, and both Russell and I are super excited and super proud of it, but the Gamer Social Club got I don't even know, did we get accepted? Are we part of it? How does that work?
So, to the best of my knowledge, the way OpenCritic and Metacritic work for you people listening is they take a bunch of reviews when games launch and essentially like give an average or whatever. And now we are, at least as far as OpenCritic is concerned, we are part of that. And I think we all have profiles on there. I know I have a profile on there.
I've got one on there too.
I changed my picture and whatnot. So we're like featured on the website. We all have profiles on there as far as I know. And you'll be able to, when new games come out, if we've got a review and we get it up in time, I think there's a 30-day turnaround. Like there's the release day, which obviously if we have codes, we'll be getting them out on embargo day. And if not, we'll get them out as soon as we can. But I think the reviews can go back 30 days. So if we've got a review for it and we were prompt enough on it, you'll be able to see it on there.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting thinking like we've only been around for like 6 months. Just over 6 months. So the fact that we're already there it's insane to me.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see any of this happening. Like when I first met Dano, it was through the Gamer Social Club like book club thing, and we were playing Banishers, and he was like, I want to make a website, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds cool, I'll help with that.
See, my experience was similar. I remember like the book club game thing. He made the Discord. I joined that, I think I got on there and messaged. I was in the general chat like once or twice, and then after that, I never interacted with the Discord for months. And then I saw on Twitter he had said something about a website that he had been like, oh, the website thing is tough, but whatever the hell he said. And I got in his comments and I was like, what's this about a gaming website you started? And then he said what he was doing. And at some point throughout the conversation, I DM'd him. And the subject came in about writers. And I don't know exactly how many people were writing. And I'm not exactly sure about time frame. I want to say I joined like a month or two after y'all started.
Mm-hmm.
I could pull up my profile on the website and look at like when my first review is, but I'm not gonna worry about that right now.
No.
I know it was definitely Dano and Lady V, which I think are the two that seems like they kind of started it.
There's another one,
but
I don't think she's very active.
I don't know about that. And then I think you and Nathan were there, and then we've since added some more bodies. I don't know everyone super well, but that's just part of the website thing. But yeah, it is crazy. I think Dano has said numerous times he was told that he would be lucky if he got like 1,000 views a month, and now we've got like individual writers that are getting hits like that, so and better, so
it's absolutely insane. So yeah, just
you actually had an Xbox related article that did super well recently.
Everyone loves to, like, it's something to do with Xbox. People like either love it or they hate it.
Oh yeah, I have I haven't looked at the metrics, but whatever the hell I wrote yesterday about the gamer the stupid their Xbox is discontinuing not
the ambassador
rewards.
program.
Yeah, the ambassador program.
Yeah.
And the numbers on that went up really fast. I think that has to do with Dano, and he's definitely more Xbox based.
Yeah.
So that probably has a lot to do with that. But we cover all things on Gamer Social Club.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm just so proud of the team and of everyone, and thankful for Dano puts in. He works 24 hours around the clock to get us this stuff. So I'm very, very thankful to him, and it's so cool just meeting. I just met so many cool people through this little adventure. But anyway, so yeah, that's it. We are now OpenCritic, I guess, certified, or we're a member, or we're part of.
Yeah, whatever it is. We don't even entirely understand it, but we're part of it.
But we're part
of the in crowd. Damn it.
Yeah. So our reviews now mean something, which also is pretty cool. But yeah, anyway, we'll move on from that. Where do you want to start with the news, Russell? Should we do the small stuff first, or do you just want to just get your rage out?
Well, what do you mean by small stuff exactly?
Well, I guess the small stuff, like all the remasters that we're getting, we can start there.
You think that I think some people would. Well, I guess if you compare it to like the Power World thing, maybe it's small. Yeah, let's get into the PlayStation remaster talk. The PlayStation remaster station.
The remaster,
as I've heard it referred. Yeah, as I've heard it referred to in a couple spaces.
I like that. I really like that, because we're getting, we just had Lollipop Chainsaw. We just had Dead Rising. I know they're not PlayStation exclusive, but we're getting so many remasters at the moment. And then just announced a Zero Dawn remaster. What do we...
Well, back up there. It hasn't technically been announced, but it's been rated by the ESRB for PlayStation 5 and PC. So it's not announced, but that's about as well as a confirmation as you can get without it coming from Sony, or Sony announces it through a third party or something. Obviously this is, and Tokoyo Games Show, I don't remember the exact dates, but I know that's coming up.
Yep.
So I would expect this I didn't read them, but there were some leaks about what Sony is going to have at the Tokyo Game Show. I don't know if we should talk about that since we don't really talk much about. We try not to talk about rumors. I will say, if true, Sony fans, I'm sorry, don't expect a ton of first party.
No.
But yeah, so I assume it's going to end up being part of that. But yeah, it's rated on the ESRB, and of course, things like Twitter and Reddit and YouTube have been completely sane about this, and have certainly not gotten in an uproar that you could compare to like a smaller version of what happened when the PS Pro was announced. They're definitely not acting like children.
I will say though that when Zero Dawn came out, it's a gorgeous game. It is an absolutely gorgeous game. So to get a remaster for do we think it's gonna go pro? Do we think it'll be a pro enhanced? It has to be, doesn't it?
There, I'm looking at the. You would think I'm looking at the ESRB rating, and they just talk about stuff that you would think that they would talk about. The violence with like arrows, spears, and explosive traps. Some like fictional drug references, which I finished the game late last year, but I got stuck and took like a really long break.
Mm-hmm.
So like the first half of the game is not quite in my memory. I don't really
Yep.
remember a lot about that, but
No, I don't remember that either.
yeah, but anyway, there's an ESRB rating thing here, and obviously there's nothing in here about like PS5 Pro enhancements. I come from this in a little bit different world than a lot of people on the website. I come from the PC world, and so my first thought, especially since it's been rated as of right now for PlayStation 5 and PC. So it's safe to assume this is coming day and date to PC as well.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, what are they going to do with this game for the PC audience that you can't already get out of the original? You can already now I have yet to run this game because I do have this game. I originally rented on the Steam Deck, and I finished the very end. No, that was Days Gone. Anyway, I have played it on both.
Yeah.
So I do know, while I run with my monitor and whatnot at 1440p, for a while I had my PC until I got my monitor hooked up to my TV, which was 4K 60 hertz. The game will run at 4K 60 on PC already, and I believe on PS5 it does that too. But if you had this setup, you could run this game on PC at an uncapped frame rate, which would get you into the hundreds, well over 100, if not even more than that. I don't know what this would look like with like a 4990 and like a 15th gen Intel. If you have that, hopefully your CPU is not melting. But Intel related joke. Oh, maybe it's 14th gen they're on. Anyway, but what I'm trying to get at is I'm wondering what they're gonna do for PC that like you can't already get out of the PC port. That is like, I don't know what could be on offer there.
I'm assuming it's maybe just for people that didn't buy the original. And
I've heard rumors about like an engine transfer. Apparently, the engine they used for Zero Dawn and the engine they used for Forbidden West, which I have not played, are different. I've heard that the second game, the gameplay is like a lot smoother and a lot more intuitive.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something going on there. I not to get too bitter, but they made a similar claim as far as updated controls go anyway when they were doing The Last of Us Part 1. They said something about updated controls related to Part 2, and it really didn't end up
feel
being
it.
that. But,
No.
but this is a different situation. So I'm interested to see what's on offer, if anything. And like, so I'm assuming, much like The Last of Us Part 2 remaster, if you already own the original, I'm assuming there's going to be like a $10 upgrade path.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to offer that on PC? Because if they do, like, if on PC, if you already own this, I see no reason to. I don't know exactly how console players are looking at it, and maybe the differences will be more drastic on console. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
On PC, I see no reason to buy this thing.
No. Okay.
Like unless you're gonna have to show me, you're gonna have what they would have to do to get. Let's say the upgrade is $10. What you're gonna have to do to get me to spend my $10? I see the word remaster, and just what I equate to a remaster being, I don't see that being worth the $10 upgrade.
No, especially like I
maybe
said,
I'm wrong.
like on PC, if you can already get magnificent numbers and make it look incredible, it's gonna be minuscule, the difference.
Yeah, if hardly at all. So I
Mm.
don't. You know what? What they could do? So with PS5 anyway, and I know that there's some of this on PC. I guess what they could do, since this is remastered for the PlayStation 5, that fucking controller, those haptic triggers and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bet they do something with that. It would make sense because I don't know that. Again, I don't have a PS5. I know if you have a PS5, I think you're running this through back compat. So I don't know if anyone listening to this has a PS5. Maybe you can fill us in if they already have that or not. But I would think they'd do something with the controller and the haptic triggers,
You would think so.
and the speaker and like the touch control. Maybe they do something there.
Because yeah, apparently the Astrobot with the haptic controller is just next level amazing. The people that I've talked to and people that I've seen play it, they just said like they've never. There's been games that have kind of dabbled with that haptic stuff, but like Astrobot has like fully dove into it, and it's like the incredible. So that could be cool. Could be cool to get something like that, so you can feel the dinosaurs are walking around, and you can feel it shaking. And
Yeah, that definitely might be something. In case you guys couldn't tell, neither me nor Fraser actually have a PS5, so we're
no,
not nearly as educated
I'm in the
on
market.
that. Yes, you are.
I thought I had one.
Uh,
I thought I had one locked down,
you
but they
thought
just
you
ghosted
did?
me. It was
Ouch.
yeah, and it's not even
Well,
like like gave them a ridiculous price either. They said they wanted X amount for it, and I said perfect. That's how much I want to pay. Let's lock in a time. Well, blah blah blah, and then they're like, great, cool, done. Yep, brilliant. All right, I'll pay when I get it. Absolutely brilliant. And then just nothing. Just never heard from them again.
hmm.
So
I
obviously,
mean, when you're going through like Facebook Marketplace, or
yeah,
for us like ancient people like Craigslist, I don't know if that Craigslist would even be relevant in your country. It may not.
we've got something similar.
Uh, yeah, but that kind of stuff can happen.
Oh yeah,
I've had some success with some of those things. I've gotten great deals, and then I've got people that just like, you agree to a price, and then before the meetup they were like, I want to do this instead, and it just
yeah.
anyway.
So yeah,
Um,
I'm still searching. So yeah, if anyone has a PlayStation 5 that they want to get rid of, hit me up.
so not to take over the conversation, but I guess the controller talk, we can use that as a segue into our next topic.
Yep.
The PlayStation 5 unveil of the 30th anniversary PlayStation 5 consoles, the Pro, the controller,
Yep.
The new PSP, we'll call it, the PlayStation
Portable.
yeah, Portal, as opposed to the Portal instead of the port. That whole situation's confusing to me. But anyway, all of the PlayStation 5 stuff. So what are your thoughts on this?
I I love it. I think it's cool. This kind of stuff gets me to buy things that I wouldn't usually buy. So like I never had the original PlayStation. Like I didn't start gaming until PlayStation 2. So to go back, I can't believe it's 30 years. 1994, dude. That's like I was
Yeah.
9.
Yeah, see, you said you're 40. I'm coming up on 40. I think I'll be 37
Yeah,
this year.
yeah.
37 or 38 in December. So we're
I
not too far away from each other
with
as far as age.
the intention of me getting the PlayStation 5, I will 100% be getting one of these controllers. I almost I would never do it because I can't justify it. But the Pro, the limited edition Pro, that's the kind of thing that would make me buy a Pro. Like,
So for the record, if you wanted to buy one new, they do have just the regular digital edition that they're doing too. As far as I know, they haven't released any actual prices on any of
no,
this stuff yet.
no. But I would
Uh,
assume
I, I've
it's
got I've got our website's article and a couple other ones pulled up, and no one's saying anything
no.
anyway. I mean, we can make some educated guesses. Uh, the controller, which the standard I think white one is $75 normally.
Yep.
Some of their special editions are like 80, 85. So I would think
Somewhere around there.
I hope PlayStation doesn't get a stick up their ass and try to charge 100 for this, although I could maybe see it
Yep.
with this particular situation.
Yep.
The Portal, I know pricing is $200 on, so maybe 250. The console, particularly the Pro, kind of scares me a little
Yeah.
bit as far as what it might be. Both consoles are digital, so there's that, thankfully.
And there's the Pro, there's only 12,300 being made.
Yeah,
so it's very limited.
So if you're someone that actually wants these things, I would say I hate to encourage this, but the best way to combat scalping is to do the same thing they're doing it. So if you know how to program bots for these sort of things, I don't like encouraging that type of behavior.
But
Sometimes you got to fight fire with fire, though.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I'm
definitely, yeah. I think the pro situation is going to be a shit show.
yeah. I'm surprised that they're not just selling the faceplates, like that it's actually a full console. Like I would have thought that people if they sold the 30th anniversary faceplates, they would sell, and they'd probably sell heaps because people.
So I.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no! Go ahead.
So,
I didn't want to. Sorry.
Because people that already own a console are probably not gonna buy another console just for the faceplates or just for the like the updated aesthetics. Like if I owned a PlayStation 5, I would love to buy those faceplates, but I'm not gonna buy another console just for that.
So, they definitely look a little different. But if you wanted to have a little more involvement, you can. There are places. I've got one pulled up right here. KO Customs Creation. You can get skins for your PS5. They look a little different than, but it's. I don't even. Actually the skins I've got pulled up right here are for the original PlayStation.
Oh, the big fat boy.
The big fat boy, we'll call it. So it looks a little different, but I mean it's a pretty decent approximation. I guess the stickers are, but they're just stickers you put over. But as far as I know, this kind of stuff has been going on for a little while.
Yeah.
I know I've seen some skins for the controller. Usually it's just like the gray part that you put over, but then the rest of the controller is still white.
Yeah.
I still think if I can, I don't. The only thing they've announced, as far as I know, that's actually limited, at least by the number, like really limited anyway, is that Pro. I mean, the stuff's all technically limited, I guess, but the only thing they gave like big numbers on was the Pro. So hopefully there'll be enough availability, at least for everyone in our Discord server wants the controller. I noticed.
Yep. I think we're gonna be buying a bunch of those.
Yeah. So, as far as my online friends go, I have seen some that are interested in the regular PlayStation 5 digital. I have not seen anyone so far on my friends list on any social media that wants anything to do with this portal. But
No.
if that's your thing, to each their own.
Yeah.
It's I think it's kind of stupid. If they there's been rumors about them doing cloud gaming on it. If they did something like that, it might spark my interest a little bit. But I have one of these. I have no
Yeah.
interest in
Yeah.
a portal.
Yeah. I just use my phone and one of those clipping on controllers, and it's absolutely perfect. I don't need anything more. But
No.
so they're definitely going to be showing more of that anniversary stuff at the Tokoyo Games Show. Rumors aside, what are your? Is there anything that you want to see
From Sony or just in general?
from Sony or in general? Because like, to be
So
honest, like Xbox, we've pretty much seen everything that they've got coming.
yeah, yeah, Xbox does, for better or for worse. Their first party shows, or first party, the Xbox shows tend to be more entertaining because Xbox is not as pulled back. But the double edged sword with that is Xbox games are constantly getting delayed.
Yeah, right.
Uh, and that doesn't happen as much with PlayStation.
No.
So like the stuff I'd like to see from PlayStation, like one of them I know I'm almost never gonna see, and that would be a Days Gone sequel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So there's a difference between what I want and what I expect. Like stuff that's realistic that we may get one day, like obviously like God of War 3 for PS5 or 6, maybe
Mm-hmm.
even 6 is coming.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect to see that. Putting the rumors aside that I've read about, like a Ghost of Tsushima sequel being like at least announced, even if it's just a CGI trailer,
Yeah.
would not be out of the realm of possibility to at least get in the next 6 months, whether it's a Tokyo Game Show or not. What I'm expecting is one or two remaster announcements, and that might be about it. And then for Sony to lean on more third party. Again, I'm aware of the rumors. I've
Yeah.
kind of avoided them and haven't really read like what they are specifically. I just read about them when I was at work on break, so I don't
Mm.
know as much. I don't even know if you've read them or not.
No,
I'm just
I
aware that
haven't.
they're out there.
There's
So
there's only one like PlayStation exclusive, or not exclusive, but there's one PlayStation game that I am super excited for, and that's Death Stranding 2. Like I hope we see something, whether it
so
be just just Kojima just standing on stage like holding a baby or something. Like I need to know that it's coming and that it's gonna happen before I'm 100 years old.
I mean, it's definitely coming. I don't know if Kojima is even going to be there. I would need to look into that. But even just because he's there, I think he was at Summer Games
Yeah,
Fest,
nothing
and
happened, eh?
everyone's like, "Oh, he's going to be there, Death Stranding 2," and
No, no.
nothing ever happened. So, well, and actually, that was Keeley's event, and they're like apparently the best of pals. So probably had something to do with that, I would assume.
Maybe Kojima couldn't afford it.
Who the hell knows? I know he was rumored to have been there, and I assume he was there, but I don't know that they ever showed him on camera or
Maybe
anything.
he was
So I don't
just
know
there
what
for
happened
fun,
there.
just there to enjoy it.
That would be my
Yeah.
guess. Him showing up like something like this, maybe if there's rumors he's backstage, then maybe that's more concrete. Death Stranding 2 has got to be getting announced
It has to.
relatively
They
soon.
have to, because like I follow both him and fuck, what's his studio called? I can't remember. I think it's just Kojima, isn't it?
Isn't it just yeah? Isn't it
Yeah.
just Kojima Productions?
Yeah. So I follow like all that stuff on the socials, and there's been so many little teaser images and videos and like pictures of him standing with certain people, and I'm just like, I'm so excited for it because the first one, to me, the first one was like, it's in my top 5 games, and I
Like of all time,
of all
or
time, yeah.
wow,
It,
we are way far apart on this.
I I had so much fun with it, and it was so weird and so just out of this world that it scratched every single itch that I had. It was scratched. So yeah, I want to see some Death Stranding 2 stuff. Like something. That's all. That's it.
I would think I got the initial release date pulled up on here, November 8th, 2019. So like realistic dev time for bigger AAA games is like 4 or 5 years. Like we're in the middle of,
Yeah.
assuming they got into production like right afterwards. So you're more familiar with this than I am. But assuming they went right into it, like we would be in the middle of like the 5th year. So like something's got to be coming soon, I would think, even
Yeah.
if they like took a year off first. I would think an announcement, a release window, maybe.
I also know that he's a stickler, so like if something's not right, they'll they'll just sit on it until it is right. And
So we could be looking at another Starfield situation
yeah,
where this takes almost a decade.
maybe. I hope not. I really
Maybe.
hope not. But are we the Silent Hill 2 is almost here, isn't it?
Next, so October 8th, I believe.
Yep. Okay. And when's the Tokyo Game Show? What date is that?
Give me 2 seconds. Tokyo Game Show dates. September 26th to the 29th.
Okay.
So here really shortly.
Yeah. So
in the next like week.
I reckon we'll definitely see some Silent Hill stuff there, 100%. But
I would think so. I don't know about like anything new that they're going to show, at least this close to launch. I don't know why you'd need to. I think the last gameplay trailer turned a lot of people around.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you think we might see another gameplay trailer, or maybe the same one, just played on the big screen?
See, if it were me, I would be like, why show anything new that close to when it's launching? It's just a few weeks apart.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if they're worried about people that are still either fence setting or like rearing their political mouth, for a lack of better words, if they're worried about those people, then maybe. But I don't see any need for it, but I'm not.
Yeah.
The way Konami does stuff is weird. So yeah. Pachinko machines, farming out there. Well, the former Konami, the one that me and you were used to back in the day, the way they acted sometimes didn't make any sense. So it might be hard to predict what they're wanting to do and what they're going to do.
And I also misread something last night, and I messaged you about it, but then I read it again. I was like, oh no, that's just me not being able to read. But it's going to be console exclusive for 1 year, and then it's coming to other formats, whatever that means.
Apparently, I read a little bit about that. I mean, so when it says console exclusive with this game, at least until Nintendo's next console comes out, whatever that would be, I don't think there's any shot of this being like compressed into a box and shoved on the Switch. I don't think that's a thing. So obviously what everyone would think there would be Xbox.
It's the
Does this game come to Xbox? I mean, maybe not. But yeah, I think with that, we didn't have a timetable before now, but like
didn't it say 1 year?
Yeah, I think everyone just assumed it would be an exclusivity deal for. We know there was an exclusivity deal, whether it was for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever the hell it was.
And
people assumed that the Final Fantasy VII remake was a year, and then a year came and went, and there was no Xbox announcement.
no,
So I
no,
don't
there
know what the
wasn't.
hell's
So
going
like,
on there.
maybe it just that's when it ends, but whether it happens or not is another story. But I mean, the
You,
original
you never know.
Silent Hill 2 was eventually ported to 360. So,
Yeah, I don't know the time frame, but I have Silent Hill 2 Shattered Dreams
mhm,
for the original Xbox. Just the disc, not the case and the goodies and stuff that comes with it.
yeah.
So yeah, you're right. That did happen. So it seems like it would only be poetic justice that this ends up on both consoles. Maybe it's poetic justice that it ends up on Xbox later, just like it did back in the day.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how you look at it.
All right. Well,
But at least there's a shot that Xbox players might get it. I know when it was announced, when I was a Series X exclusive player, apart from the Switch anyway, and it was announced and it was only going to be for PS5 console wise, I was a little heartbroken. But now that I'm playing on PC, that doesn't.
it doesn't really affect you. No.
Yeah, no.
Are you just completely 90 degreeing this? Did you ever play any of the Yakuza games?
Someone gifted one or two of them to me here recently on Steam, but no, I've never played
No.
any of the Yakuza games. I am aware of the announcement. I think it was
Yeah, there's
no,
a pirate one.
yeah.
Pirate Yakuza set in Hawaii. That like
Yeah, I heard people comparing it to see or that Ubisoft game that came out this year. I don't know if it's got anything to do with that, but like gameplay wise, if it's gonna be similar, maybe not. But
yeah, who knows? But
yeah,
like
I think you know more about it than I do.
what I that was really I was gonna say like apparent
Ow.
the first six are like old. I think if you're gonna get into it, you should start at number seven. That's where I'll be starting. I do plan on playing them because like I've heard just amazing things about them. So the fact that there's like another one coming out, I feel like we've only just got one, like this year.
Yeah, didn't we get one earlier this year?
So Infinite Wealth, I think that came out this year. But anyway, that was just a little thing that I saw, that we're getting another pirate games. That's exciting.
Looks like it takes place. It looks like it takes place after Infinite Wealth. A lot of pirate ship features in the trailer, giving off Assassin's Creed Black Flag vibes. So maybe that's where that Ubisoft comparison I read about earlier was.
I wonder.
February 28th. February 28th on Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, PS5, PS4, and PC. So last gen people will be enjoying this
Yes.
as well. To the spite of the new gen people, I'm sure. But
just buy a new console already. God.
So to that point that you just brought up, all I have to say about that is congratulations, console peasants. Now you know what PC players have been bitching about for ages. Because there is a little bit of war between the Master Race thing, where like the Master Race guys are like, can we just get rid of these consoles because they're bottlenecking our experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now between that and the Series S in particular, you console players are getting a little taste of that, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's quite sad. But that's all right. I mean, if I think one of the things that I like loved about Xbox and kind of still do love about Xbox is their thing about like everyone should be able to play games. It shouldn't just be the people that can afford the most expensive, biggest, brightest thing. Like the digital only Series S, like as much as it's a crutch to everything, like I love that there is that. Like because I've got people in my life that have them, and it's cool. I just think it's it's amazing that
I know two people in particular that have limited income, we'll say,
yeah.
and everything else is none of the public's business. who they are and whatnot, but like they would not be able to get on next gen without the Series S, and specifically like the insane like price slashing we see when it goes on. It's $299 map or retail price or whatever. It's not. Anyway, when it's on sale, it's like between 250 and 225. I think even one Christmas it got as low as 200 in some places.
Yeah.
To be able to play next gen,
it's very cool.
At the performance you do get. I know it's not a Series X. I know it's not a PS5. I know it's not even my PC, but it's at least they're able to play next gen games. I do know one guy that literally bought it just to play Baldur's Gate 3, and although it's I wouldn't even say the worst place to play it, there are definitely PCs that'll run Baldur's Gate that probably even get worse performance than the Series S.
Yeah.
But it's one of the probably worst place to play it, and they had fun. So
yeah. And that's exactly right. Right. Well, do you want to start talking about the big red elephant in the room?
The big red pocket pear shaped elephant? Is that what we're
pocket pear shaped elephant? Like
so
just...
if you're unless you've been living under a rock, if you're into gaming, you're probably aware that Nintendo has filed a lawsuit against the Power World studio owner, whatever you want to call them, Pocket Pear. So let me pull up Nintendo's statement here. I've read through it a couple times. There's a few weird things in here. I want to get to... I don't want our article on it, and I don't want Forbes' article on it. I want the original actual statement.
I think it's interesting that it's taken them so long, right? When Power World first came out, everyone was like...
Yes and no, but it's what they're suing them for that's very strange. So okay, since my internet's being retarded, I guess I won't pull up. So they're not being sued for like... They're being sued for patent infringement. They're not being sued because the characters look alike. So evidently, at some point in 2021, Nintendo started patenting a specific game mechanic. And I'm not going to bore the listeners or the watchers with all the ins and outs of it. I mean, I've literally got, like I was telling you at the beginning or before we started recording, I've got like pictures and patent numbers up here. I'm not going to bore you with that. But what this basically boils down to is they have basically copyrighted the game mechanic of like a player throwing a spear shape at a monster and like catching it, basically. Like that's in a nutshell. That there's a little bit more like in-depth in a first mode and aiming direction in a viral space is determined based on a second operation input, blah 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 blah. A player, it even reading it out loud, it kind of doesn't make any sense. But from what I gather, in a nutshell, they have basically copyrighted that in like a gaming space. They have copyrighted that mechanic. Which I have some opinions on just doing that. I think that is asinine, and we'll get into that. But that is basically in a nutshell what they are suing Pocket Pear for, is the act that game mechanic. To which I'm wondering in the long run if this goes to court, if they can't just change the mechanic so if it's like a box instead of a sphere that they catch them with,
or a like...
Yeah, I'm a little bit more invested in this. I checked yesterday, a couple days ago when I heard about the lawsuit. I have over 140 hours into this game.
Yeah.
So this affects... I haven't played a lot in the last couple months, but this affects me. I don't want my game going away.
No.
To your point, you were asking like why did they wait so long? So they filed the patent publishing date June 22nd, 2023, filing date September 21, 2022. I thought I'd heard that they had started this process in 2021. Registration date December 6, 2023. Publication date December 14th. So there's some work. The working theory is that sometime in 2021, 2022, Nintendo got wind of this, which I think Power World was announced in 2021. Okay, so Power World was announced in 2021. These are the specifics. The patent was filed in 2022, so that date that I gave y'all just a second ago, that date is valid. Okay. So it almost seems like they saw Power World, at least looking from the outside, they saw Power World, they saw this coming, and maybe they knew, okay, well we're not going to be able to do anything about the character designs, because then you're really getting into the weeds, like, oh, that looks too much like Pikachu, we're suing you. Well, then there's other games that is something going to come up where we figure out that there was a game in like the 70s that looks like Mario, and oh, you used a plumber, we're suing you.
Yeah.
So they're not doing anything like that. They're suing for this game mechanic. To which everyone's making comparison. Oh, Ubisoft better not copyright the whole tower save thing, because then Nintendo would be in a shitload of trouble with the way the last two Zeldas have come out. But so it literally looks like that's what they did. That they saw Power World coming, at least from the outside. They made this patent, and now they're just I maybe getting around to is not the right word. Like, they did this, they waited for the process, which it looks like they got the patent, if I'm not mistaken, sometime late last year, and they were just waiting for all the ducks to like align.
Yeah.
As far as all of this goes.
Yeah,
obviously, like from what I'm reading, most people want Pocket Pair to win this. I do feel the need to say, like, the Nintendo ninjas are scary, but they have lost once or twice. More than that, even. Now, unfortunately, Nintendo usually has a tendency only to lose when they're very, very clearly in the wrong.
Okay.
I believe they got sued for their Wii tech, the sensor stuff.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't end up having to retract anything or discontinue the Wii, but I do believe they got sued and lost for that. For some tech that was in the Wii, I was reading yesterday. So it's not like they're undefeated in the courtroom. A lot of times when they end up suing someone, it's for like ROMs and emulators, and it usually doesn't make it to court. There's usually some type of settlement. We saw that with the Yuzu emulator, the Switch emulator, earlier this year. And then I know there's one or two people that tried to use a fork of Yuzu. The way that ended up working is because part of the settlement, Nintendo now owns that emulator. So if an emulator pops up that's a fork of Yuzu, which is basically based off of like the original code, if for the listeners that may not understand that, like, Nintendo owns that, so no, you can't use that. In their world, using a fork of that would basically be the software equivalent of like trying to reproduce the Switch, same specs and everything. So I am curious, before I've already gotten into the weeds on this in my brain, what are your thoughts? Who do you want to win? Who's in the right in your mind with the little bit you may have read about this?
Nintendo's got this thing where, like, I feel like they're so far behind in everything. Like, their console, like, how long ago was the Switch? Fucking, it's years now, isn't it? It's
I think it's 7 years, somewhere around there. 7-8 years.
And the fact that they still haven't, like, there's still no like good online system, there's no chat, there's no any of this, like, I feel like they're focusing too much on what other people are doing than like working on their own stuff. Like, I want Pocket Pair to win this. I have only um I've only dabbled in Power World, but I know that it's massive, and I know people love it. And if something like this was to happen, and Power World was to disappear, like I feel like that opens a door for other things to happen. Like Nintendo patenting like mechanics, I feel is like it's a massive step in the wrong direction. Like,
So the only two examples I can think of that are like this are obviously this with Nintendo, and then apparently Warner Brothers Games has the Nemesis
yep,
system that they've used in the Lord of the Rings games
yep,
patent,
yep,
which apparently that might be rearing its head in some sort of new DC universe game.
okay,
I'm not gonna get too into the weeds on that because I don't even know where to look for that information. But I don't know that anything like this has ever been tested in court before.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, and the thing to keep in mind, like I know there's a lot of people that are saying this is very cut and dry, and Pocket Pair is gonna lose. That may be. This is also one thing that people got to keep in mind. This is even if you're like a U.S. lawyer, uh, specialized here in the US. This is two Japanese companies going at it in
mm,
a Tokyo court.
yeah,
So US law may not, and I actually think they do have this patent in the US too, so that sucks.
yeah,
But this is, as of right now, as far as I know, only being tested in Japan. And we actually don't, according to Pocket Pair's statement, they are not aware of whatever patent they may be violating, which I thought was interesting because typically the way these typically it seems like what we've seen in the past is a company gets served or a person gets served and then the news comes out.
yeah,
So like they're already aware of what's going on and they have a statement. So if Pocket Pair is to be believed, as far as I know, Power World's only their second game, so I don't know like a ton about the studio.
mm-hmm,
If they're like super trustworthy or what the background may be. As they've given me no reason to doubt them. So taking them at their word, assuming that this is like they were just caught off guard by this, like we were, it'll be interesting. I mean, they've got money from Power World.
mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know if that I don't know if the Power World sales equates being able to fight Nintendo. Uh, we're talking
No,
about two different
I
worlds
wouldn't.
there.
I wouldn't think that
Power World
everyone would
did
have
Tower,
Nintendo money.
yeah, yeah. So we'll see how this goes. I am definitely going to be staying in the weeds on this one.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of sucks to talk about because like we know some stuff about it, but we kind of don't. What we really know is that Pocket Pair is being sued and that it's patent infringement, and we don't actually know anything else. Everything else is assumptions based on what Nintendo has patent. I can't think of any other. I don't know of any game mechanics they own in relation to Zelda because Breath of the Wild is another game that Power World has been compared to, and there is some fighting mechanics, and then with some the way the towers work a little bit,
Yeah,
you could definitely compare to the newer Zelda games. But again, I don't know if Nintendo would have patented something like that.
yeah,
I'm unaware of that, and then that brings Ubisoft into the question too, because they were definitely doing the tower save fast travel feature way before Nintendo was. So
yeah,
with the Assassin's Creed games,
yeah. And
but
then
that's all assumptions right now.
and I guess like the patent thing, does it come down to the code, or is it the image of a ball being thrown at a monster? Like if they could it be something as simple as like it's not thrown at the monster, it's thrown next to it. Like I wonder
So
how it's worded.
so in their patent right here, they have, I hazard to even call this like a game asset, a 3D figure that kind of looks like a person, and then he looks like he's kind of throwing something, and then there's a target, and then there's what looks to be a pterodactyl like flying towards the target. So if I'm reading this image correctly, the target would be where you're throwing the ball and where you could aim it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's very, very I mean, these patents don't tend to be. And then there's a bunch of technical stuff with field character A and field character B, and I don't really understand how patents work. I'm not that nerdy, so like I kind of like sort of know what I'm looking at, but sort of don't at the same time.
Yeah, because then like, does this?
Just based off of this, I'm gonna say like the just the mechanic act, whatever you want to call it, of throwing the ball, at least in 3D form, is what this all equates to and what Nintendo owns. I don't honestly think you should even be able to copyright something like this, just because I think it.
Yeah.
If this goes through and this precedent is set, and this is the way things go forward, are we going to see Blizzard start copywriting MMO mechanics? Are
Yeah.
we going to see Ubisoft do the tower mechanic that everyone
Like in
keeps bringing
Call
up?
of
Are
Duty
we?
shooting a gun? Like, where's it?
Well, I actually, if you were gonna, I would think if a company could file a patent for that, it would be id Software. But
Yeah.
maybe, but it opens a big can of worms if this goes through and
Yeah.
everything like.
Yeah.
And this is all above board and shit. I feel like I just feel like Nintendo shouldn't be able to do this.
Yeah.
If we're being honest,
Well, because like,
it's going to creatively stifle the industry if this ends up being like a log rolling downhill that just leads to all these other things. It's insane.
yeah, because with Warner Brothers owning that Nemesis system, like, have you played the Lord of the Rings games?
Shadow of
Mordor
something.
and War.
Yeah, I think so. It's been years
Yeah.
since I played it, so I can barely even remember the mechanic. But
Such a cool mechanic that they patented and just never used ever again. And like, I can't think of any instances where it would fit, but just the fact that like somebody owns it means that no one else can use it without paying, means that it's just this cool thing that's sitting there that only Lord of the Rings can use or Warner Brothers can use. But then if Warner Brothers is potentially selling off bits and pieces, where does that go? I wonder.
that is hard to say. And I do want a sidebar just for a second. For anyone, because Fraser just brought up, oh, maybe you could paying Warner Brothers to use that mechanic. Yes, technically, I'm sure that Pocket Pair could pay Nintendo to use this mechanic. Do I think Nintendo's going to allow that? No.
They'll just give them some stupid amount and be like, yeah, $1 billion.
So here's what I have figured out about Nintendo. I have been playing. I am almost 40. I started playing the NES in the very early 90s, I believe, and I can attest to the fact that Nintendo cares much more about their IP than they even do their company's success. That's why when the GameCube did so poorly and apparently Microsoft offered to buy the company, Nintendo, they were laughed out of the room, basically. Like that wasn't going to happen. They are going to be the last people putting out physical media in related to games.
Yep.
They are going to always be behind everyone at this point because they've got their, I don't even want to call it a niche. Far too many people bought the Switch to call that a niche. But they know where they stand. Mm-hmm. They know their lane. And that doesn't mean they're not going to bully in on other people's lanes, because they're doing that right now. They know what works for them, and it's based less in power and more, you could say, innovation, but not with every console. But they know what works. And one of those things that works is being very, very controlling of their IP.
Yeah.
And in this situation, that IP just has to involve this particular game mechanic, which, when reading it, it just seems asinine. I'm looking at this patent. I'm not seeing anything about third operation input. Maybe I'm misreading this. I'm not seeing anything about it having to be a ball or a sphere or anything. So maybe my thought earlier wouldn't work now that I'm looking at it.
Right, it's just an object, throwing some
That
sort of object.
Yeah, that and capturing them, that sucks, because I thought maybe that'd be like a cool asinine way to get around that.
Well,
Fuck.
it's not a ball, it's a square.
Yeah, one of my favorite games of this year might actually be doomed. And actually, important to note, Nintendo is not. Maybe I shouldn't have called it a lawsuit. They're filing an injunction, which again, I believe this means the same thing in Japan as it does with in the U.S. But basically, filing an injunction, they're trying to get them to stop game development and just stop the game right now, is what it sounds like.
Okay.
So, will there actually be? I would assume there'd have to be monetary consequences to that too. But it's just not
Brutal.
we know so. This is almost typical Nintendo. We know there's a new console coming. They've even acknowledged it at this point. But we don't. I know there were leaks earlier this week, but we don't really know if those are accurate.
Yeah.
We don't. We know it's coming. So this whole situation is very Nintendo. To like be like, hey, we're suing these people, trademark infringement. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, I guess we just wait and see, right?
Yeah.
I don't assume that it's going to be a fast result.
No, I imagine this injunction's going to get filed, and just knowing, we've seen cases like this before. I mean, Nintendo did the same thing in a way to oh god, I want to say Atari, because of the whole Tengen thing with the NES cartridges.
Yeah.
You may not be super familiar with that.
No.
So what they did, I think it was Atari that owned Tengen. I might be mistaken there, but basically, people got tired of paying Nintendo to put games on the NES and how draconian they were being with. There was a chip shortage, so I think you could only release like 5 games a year and blah 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 blah. So they basically lied to the US patent office, and you can go in there and look at patents, but you can't take them unless it's involved in a court case. So they lied and said it was and took it when there isn't, and then later claimed that they reverse engineered the chip, which is completely legal. But the thing that got them caught, there was some extra code left over in one of the chips. There's an NES lockout chip. That's what they were trying to crack. You basically can't get a game to play without a chip on the game interacting with the lockout chip in the system.
Yeah.
There was some code in there that was basically left over. It didn't do anything. And that leftover code was in the Tengen cartridges too, which if they had reverse engineered the chip, there would have been no reason for that leftover code to be in there, because it wasn't. So
that's devastating. Devastating.
Yeah. But yeah, so I really don't want Nintendo to win this. And it goes a little bit beyond rooting for the small guy.
Yeah. I think like we've said, it just opens up.
This is just one of those things that could open up so many cans of worms. And AAA gaming can be so like stagnant and creatively like stifled anyway.
Yeah.
Something like this is not going to help that at all.
No. Oh, yeah, I guess we just wait and see, don't we?
Yeah. Was there any other news you wanted to cover, or
No, just a quick little piece of information that I saw. Did you know it costs Microsoft upwards of $1 billion to get third-party games onto Game Pass?
so I saw a headline,
Yeah.
something related to that earlier, but I don't even know what it's about.
So a quick skim through. It's just an article about how much developers and publishers get to put their games on Game Pass, because I think there's a misconception behind of people that think that like they don't get much, but it it's actually it's actually a significant amount. Like when we talked to Joe, um, way back when with Hypercharge, he was offered a significant amount of money to put his game on Game Pass, and it is it's a risk that you have to take. You either have to back yourself and say, no, I think my game is going to sell more copies than what you're offering me, or take the risk and be like, yep, I'll take the lump sum now. And
And then it doesn't matter what they sell.
yes, exactly. So yeah, it turns out that Hypercharge sold way more than what they were offered, so it worked for them. But then
So Hypercharge, was that on Game Pass or
no,
no?
no, it wasn't.
No.
No.
Okay, so it ended up. I remember being fairly impressed with the sales, at least on Xbox. So I guess that makes sense.
It's actually coming to PlayStation soon as well, I believe.
I don't know a ton about. Okay, so I found the article that you're talking about. So it literally says, to be clear, it says that they spend $1 billion a year getting third-party games on the subscription service.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they're paying a single company $1
No.
billion a year.
No.
That's not the way that works.
Definitely not.
Uh,
But it would be interesting to see, games, how much certain games are offered compared to like smaller indie games. Like
I would imagine a lot of that is bigger games, but
yeah.
who knows?
See, like
Rockstar, old GTA games make their way onto Game Pass here and there. I'd imagine they get a decent chunk of that.
Yep.
I know in the past, Microsoft has been really, really good to indie games.
Yep.
I heard this year or last year they were starting to pull back on that, though. That the Game Pass deals weren't as
Is it
oh god, what's the word
lucrative?
I'm looking for here? Yeah, we'll call it lucrative. That's not the word I was actually thinking of, but that makes more sense than probably what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could definitely see, particularly if you're an indie dev. I mean, do you take that risk, and do you have the next like Super Meat Boy or Binding of Isaac or Power World for that matter? Since we just got done talking about that,
Yep.
do you have the next Power World on your hand? So do you take the Game Pass deal, or do you try to sell it? I could see how that would be.
Yeah.
At least with the Game Pass deal, you could be like, yeah, we could take the Game Pass deal, and then maybe it's a situation where like you're not millionaires, but all of a sudden you don't have to. You've at least got funding for your next game if you're an indie dev. But then maybe you're leaving money off the table if it does really well. But then if like no one plays your game and it's on Game Pass, well, I guess you made out.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
can continue the
I
studio.
guess as long as you get a little bit more or the same as what it costs you to make, like you win. It's a win, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I'm just looking up now. Was Yeah, so Flintlock, for instance, I wonder how much they were offered to put their game on Game Pass, because that didn't sell terribly well. And that was on PlayStation, Xbox, and
Yeah, I think that was on everything.
and PC. And the fact that it was on Game Pass, I played it, and I really enjoyed it. But I wonder how, like, because it didn't sell very well, I wonder if their deal was good, or if it was like
If it put them in a place to maybe
yeah,
continue the train going.
who knows?
But then again, if your first game doesn't sell very well, do people have, like, maybe they didn't like it, maybe people don't have high expectations for you. There's so many ifs, ands, or buts that go into that.
Yeah.
A lot of this article about this whole $1 billion thing, like half of it's like, well, not half of it, a couple paragraphs is about Take-Two and GTA and the head of I guess Take-Two's gaming division or whatever, saying that launching their games day and date on Game Pass doesn't make any sense.
Well, for someone like that, I would say no,
yeah,
it doesn't.
Why would you want to do that?
Yeah, like would Grand Theft Auto 6, like if they release that on Game Pass, Microsoft would have to offer Rockstar some serious money.
I think that they would have to offer them so much money for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way Microsoft makes money in that deal.
No.
They would be losing. They would be losing money in that situation.
Yeah.
So that's
like
insane.
It just. But then, like we talked about, like games like Flintlock or games like Hypercharge or fucking Witch's Kitchen or Kiki's Delivery Service, like, you know, games that people don't know.
Kiki's Delivery Service?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
where the fuck did that come from?
I don't know. It was some reason it was just sitting in the front of my brain. I think when I said Witch's Kitchen, I was like, well, maybe that.
Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah, like that. Like if I was to make a game, and Xbox offered me Game Pass money, I reckon I'd take it. I don't. You know, who would buy Fraser's game? Who knows? Yeah.
I suppose that would depend on what it was. Yeah. I'd buy it if it was a 2D platformer.
Yeah, true. But then, like, you know, how many people buy 2D platformers nowadays? How many people play them versus how many people would buy them?
That's a really good question that I can't answer.
Because I've also noticed that indie games are getting more expensive as well. And like, I know that some of them are definitely worth how expensive they are, but like, that's going to be a huge thing for me now. Like, I used to love dipping my toe in the indie waters, picking up a $10-15 game, giving it a try, but they're kind of $25-30 now, and that's starting to get away from, like, I'll give that a try, to I need to know what it's like before I pay that sort of money.
God damn it.
What's happened, bud?
Now my fucking Windows 11. Jesus Christ. Now my keyboard only works if it's plugged in.
Oh.
Fucking.
That's, yeah.
For those unfamiliar with me and my goings on Twitter, for some fucking asinine reason, Windows 10 has been giving me a lot of issues lately. And Microsoft, much like Apple, has been sued for, like, slowly making their former operating systems obsolete.
Yeah.
So I thought switching to Windows 11 would fix some of those problems, and it did, but it created a bunch of new ones.
Yeah,
I'm about ready to throw my fucking keyboard out the fucking window.
I'm not. I don't know what you do, man. I don't know what you do, but some of these problems that you have, I just no. Brilliant. Well, yeah. Do you anything else to add, or shall we?
Not that I can think of. Sorry to the listeners if this seemed like a little. We had ideas, and then obviously Nathan got sick or was feeling under the weather or
Yeah,
feeling puny, and it just was what it was. So we kind of just like winged this.
yeah, yeah,
Personally, I would like to do something a little more structured like this once in a while with like
yeah.
the news.
I agree.
Hopefully, a little more prepared than this.
Yeah, because again, Nathan's
Uh,
the guy who comes prepared. We just turn up and
yeah,
talk. But now that I
yeah,
actually have to
and
like look at things and read things, I'm just like, oh
I definitely didn't feel like I was laughing and cracking jokes nearly as much as I
no,
do. So
no,
so so
definitely
so
not.
maybe yeah. So maybe if we keep in touch about like the news and if we're gonna try it this way,
Mm,
and if you're listening, watching on YouTube, comment in below. Were you bored doing it this way? Do you want us to uh
yeah,
you know do more of the way we've been doing it? Maybe let us know.
yeah, because we're just having fun with this, but obviously we want you to be having fun with it too.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right then. Well, thank you all for coming and hanging out with us for an hour and a half today. It's been a load of fun.
Holy shit!
Don't
You mean it wasn't? You mean it wasn't 3 hours?
no
Jesus Christ!
no, it wasn't 3 hours. It was only an hour and a half. And like, do you know
Sweet.
what? The only thing that's different is Nathan's not here. So maybe.
Well, you know what would have made it funny? Not to maybe I shouldn't break the fourth wall that much. I'm sure Lady V would have been pretty entertaining
Oh
tonight,
yes, yeah. I would have loved to have
but
had her on today.
well, from what I understand, people, she's had a cocktail or two. So
Yeah, good on her. Good on her. So yeah, make
if
sure
yeah,
that you go to the socials. So the Gamer Social Club Twitter handle is gamer_s_c. I will pop a link for our Discord down below so you can come and hang out and talk smack with the rest of us. The current game of the month this month is Dredge. And if you haven't
God, that's right.
played Dredge, you must. It's a gorgeous, fun, cozy little game, but it's also like
I
really creepy and weird. And
I forgot about that, and I want to play it. I don't have much going on in terms of reviews and stuff right now, which I think Dano might actually like because then I end up covering a lot more of the news. I haven't had a lot going on review wise this week, and so I've actually pumped out quite a few news articles, which I'm
yes,
sure is a load off of him. But
yeah, you definitely been pumping them out. Yeah. So do you wanna plug your shit real quick?
uh I mean, you can get me on X/Twitter. That stuff I imagine will be in the description somewhere. Also, I've been streaming. Streaming has been a little inconsistent this week, just because I didn't stream on Monday because of WWE Raw, so I streamed on Tuesday, which then it didn't make sense to. I try somewhere around 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I tried to stream on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then usually closer to 1 or 2 p.m. On Saturdays.
Okay.
So I'm trying to do 3 times a week and stay fairly consistent with it. I have had the chat getting a little more active recently, which is kind of cool.
That is
So
very
if you're
cool.
bored and want to see a grown man scream at 2D platformers, uh, yeah, check out my streams on YouTube. I
Brilliant.
might try to start doing some multi-stream stuff on YouTube and Twitch, but I haven't quite figured out how to do that in Streamlabs just yet.
No, I think you can
So,
do that, but I think you have to pay. I
really?
think there's a pay option, but don't quote me
Well,
on that.
maybe I'll just stick to YouTube for
Yeah.
now then.
And yeah, you can find me at FOM Gaming everywhere. All right. Have a good one, and we'll catch you next time. Ciao.